Welcome back to today's react. We're looking at why you'd be a useless time traveler. If we're going back all the way to this point of time, for sure I'm gonna be useless. What am I gonna do against dinosaurs? Come on, man.
You would be completely useless
I'd probably just want to die the moment I got there.
if you were suddenly dropped into the past. We
That's
all
too much
like
to
to
deal with.
imagine that with our modern education and knowledge of history, we'd be like Ash from Army of Darkness, immediately revolutionizing society, inventing electricity 200 years early, and being
Well, I mean, I can see how you can invent electricity, but you wouldn't know how to apply it to other things for sure. Like things like the water wheels. I feel like that's easy. You could for sure advance to some extent from that point. 100%.
hailed as a genius.
Fire.
But the truth is, most of us would be utterly embarrassingly useless.
Okay.
Despite having smartphones in our pockets with access to all human knowledge, most of us can't actually do much without modern infrastructure.
For sure.
We know things exist, but we don't know how to make them or even how they.
Yeah, chips, I don't even know, bro. You can't even ask me. I don't know even how to start making a chip. That junk got parts on parts on parts on parts on parts. Crazy.
fundamentally work. So the first reason you'd be useless in the past is the enormous gap between knowing something exists and knowing how to create it. Sure, you know smartphones exist. You might even know they contain transistors, microchips, and lithium batteries. But could you actually build one from scratch? Do you know how to extract lithium from the earth? Could you create a microchip without modern manufacturing facilities? Of course not. I mean, what did Carl Sagan say about baking an apple pie from scratch? You got to start with creating the universe. Most of our knowledge depends on vast infrastructure that took centuries to develop. We understand things at a consumer level, but not a creator level. This means that while you could tell people about amazing technologies from the future, you couldn't actually help them build any of it. Okay, and then even if we handwave the language issue, let's say you speak the language of whatever time period you land in what geographic region, but you'd still be faced with enormous cultural barriers. Modern speech is filled with references, idioms, and concepts that simply wouldn't exist yet. Imagine trying to explain something being like a broken record to someone who's never seen a record player, or saying something went viral to someone who doesn't understand germ theory. Our entire way of thinking is shaped by modern concepts. We think in terms of electricity, digital information, global communication, frameworks that wouldn't exist in pre-industrial societies. You'd constantly be reaching for metaphors and explanations that make zero sense to your audience. And that's before we even get to social norms. The way we interact with others today would be considered anywhere from bizarre to criminally offensive in most historical periods.
It'd be straight magic.
Your casual attitude towards authority figures alone might get you imprisoned or worse.
Yeah, for
Imagine
sure.
saying R.I.P. Bozo to a fallen monarch in the past. I don't know what would happen to you. The truth is, you wouldn't come off across as a sophisticated time traveler from the future. You'd probably seem like some babbling madman with no practical skills and just
sure.
bizarre ideas. You know, another thing is that
But
modern.
it depends how far back you go, though, right? Caveman times, if we're able to communicate and they don't just kill you off the just looking at you. You can give them fire. You can give them the water wheel, like I said. You can give them the wheel in general. You know what I'm saying? You can help them do a lot of things. Agriculture, a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? At basic human knowledge, you can understand that stuff. And give it to them. That would further the human knowledge, even if it wasn't like to some crazy extent. Just you pushing that discovery years before it actually happened for the first time, from your knowledge, your time or whatever, it would speed up things. Like 2025 would have been what 2040 would have been, you know what I mean? Like if you just brung it back a couple of years with other advancements.
Humans are remarkably fragile compared to our ancestors. We've been protected by modern medicine, sanitation, and food safety
you'd be
standards our
cooked off
entire
like every
lives.
disease,
If you were
bro.
dropped into medieval Europe, you'd immediately be exposed to dozens of pathogens your immune system has never encountered. Meanwhile, the locals have been building resistance to these diseases their entire lives. You might...
Well, I mean, we would survive a lot of things, though, wouldn't we? We would be like a immortal being to some extent. Maybe maybe if it was like some new stuff, but like like a regular sickness and everything, you'd be chilling. Because you already got the vaccines for
be
it.
taken out by what they consider a minor seasonal illness. And this works both ways. I mean, you're a walking biohazard to historical populations.
That is
You
true.
might be carrying microbes that your body handles fine, but could devastate an unexposed population. Think about Columbus and all of them, and even the fall of the Aztecs and the like. Congratulations, you just became a one-person plague vector. And then there's your physical condition. Unless you're regularly doing physical, intense labor, you're probably not going to be ready for the daily workload of pre-industrial life. Farming, blacksmithing, construction all require significant physical strength and endurance that most modern humans just don't have.
Yeah, keep it away
Even
from
something
there.
as basic as walking everywhere would be a shock to a lot of people. People regularly walk 20 plus miles a day when necessary. I mean, how's your endurance looking? You know, even traditionally respected professions like medicine would be severely limited. A modern doctor without antibiotics, anesthesia, imaging technology, or even basic sanitation would be working with one hand tied behind their back. Some of you might be thinking, well, I could teach them about germ theory or basic physics, but
Like cleaning
would you really
yourself.
explain it well enough to be useful? Most of us understand these concepts at the surface level based on what we learned in school. But could you derive the mathematical formulas for momentum? Could you
Nope.
explain exactly why hand washing prevents disease transmission at a microbiological level?
I mean, do you have to though? I mean, it's just obvious, bro. Like people, like diseases are really spreading because they didn't know how to clean themselves well. They weren't bathing often. I mean, bro, like you don't smell that? How did people survive just smelling nasty smelling people? Like, I don't get that, bro. I genuinely don't. I mean, like I think it was like the Native Americans or the African or the people from Africa that they brought as slaves had to teach them how to clean themselves well, just so that they stopped dying. Because the people who they brought first were dying, so they had to get help from other people from other cultures to survive correctly.
Let's be honest,
Crazy.
most of our knowledge is just awareness that something exists and not a very visceral understanding of
yeah,
how
for sure.
or why it works. The truth is that most of us would struggle severely if transported to the past. Our knowledge is built on generations of accumulated science.
I wouldn't even want to do it. That's just my mindset, right? Especially with me being black. Get it out of here. But let's say they didn't care about race. Still wouldn't want to do it. I'm good. Put me back in the past. I'm out of here. Sorry. Lights out. Can't do it.
Technology that we
Too
take
much
for
work.
granted. We know that things work, but rarely how they work from first principles. This realization should actually give us more appreciation for human history. Each generation built upon the last, creating the foundation for our modern world on some Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes. No single person, not even a time traveler with a modern education, could replicate centuries of human innovation and discovery alone. The
Yeah.
true geniuses were the people who advanced human knowledge without having Google or LLMs to help them. If you found this thought experiment type interesting, hit that subscribe button for more
Oh, that's
content
the
like
end of
this.
the video. I thought he was gonna go more for like a Dr. Stone kind of like path for the video. Like if everybody was turned to stone, then suddenly awoken, and you had to survive. I think I'm cooked. Right now, if it's a group of people and I'm with somebody like Senku, I'm chilling. I'll do some heavy lifting. I got y'all, bruh. I got y'all. But if it's not like Senku and it's just a group of random people who don't know how to do stuff, get me out of here. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. At that point, it's The Walking Dead. It's a zombie apocalypse, no zombies. Get me out of here. I'm not dealing with that nonsense, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you don't know how quickly I just give up, bro. Like, I'm done, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You can't force me, bro. I'm sorry. I'm gone. Too much work. But comment down below what y'all think. Because me personally, I'm not dealing with it. Sorry. They got it.
Bing.